What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week, I'm going to talk about a couple of movies that I just seen recently that's fairly new. Some new releases. But one thing I want to get on to first is the whole the virus pandemic or whatever. Everyone's panicking over it. This stupid shit with toilet paper or whatever it's ridiculous. These hoarders, when it's not nearly as bad as they're trying to make it out to be. The media's hyping it up to be 10 times worse than it really is. The flu has killed more people than this thing has. And it's basically kind of like a form of flu, is what it is. It's, you get sick, you have to beat it down for a couple of weeks, and then you get over it. The older people and those with, some type of medical condition that, could be more susceptible to it and have a harder time fighting it. But, people need to stop panicking. It's not nearly as bad as the media is playing it out to be, and that's been proven already. But this thing with the, hoarding products, going to the store and hoarding products, I think is a little bit ridiculous. Especially, I don't get the whole toilet paper thing. That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know what's up with the TP thing, but that's just dumb. I live in Missouri, and I don't know. We've had people panicking out here and grabbing all kinds of crap from the grocery stores and Walmarts and shit. And it's just retarded. People are hoarding like crazy, and I don't get it. It's dumb. The people, you're not going to be inside your home for that long, so I don't know why people are doing it. It's just dumb. It's retarded. But anyways, I don't know why certain businesses are shutting down. I could understand like travel places or some crap like that, because it's kind of putting a ban on outgoing, incoming travel for a little bit, for a short period of time. That I can understand. But other businesses and stuff, I think it's a little extreme, but I'm not an expert. I just think it's a little bit much, and people are overreacting pretty badly. I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be. So anyways, that's my thought on the whole virus situation. I think it's just gotten a little bit ridiculous and over dramatic, overreacting to it. But anyways, moving on. The two new releases that I saw recently, one is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I watched it. It was okay. I never ever really played the games that much, to be honest. Never had a Sega. Always played Atari, and then from there went to Nintendo, and then from Nintendo went to PlayStation. And I've been a PlayStation avid fan ever since. I don't even do Xbox. I really don't like Xbox at all. But anyways, so I never played the Sonic game, so I didn't know a whole lot about Sonic. But regardless, everybody's heard of Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, it's an icon of Sega. You know, and even though I've never actually played the games, I've seen it. I've seen it played. I've heard the stories on Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and blah blah blah. You know, I know a bit about the lore. I just never really got into it. With that going in, you know, I didn't know the story or anything, so you know, I was okay with it. It was all right. It didn't bother me. I don't like Jim Carrey with his political views. He's very far left extremist. But as a comedian, he is funny sometimes as a comedian. I'll give him that, you know. Back when he was not so popular, you know, he was making some pretty good films. And then he blew up, and then he became an ass. But anyways, regardless of that, as an actor, he's a decent comedian. Now, this movie, I didn't particularly think he was all that funny. He was okay. I don't know. It wasn't catered to the adults, I don't think, at all. It was definitely a kidsy movie. Because I think there was one scene where he comes over to visit his wife's sister's house or whatever, and the sister says something about, oh, I'm going down, catch me, because she was fainting or some crap. I don't remember what it was about, but that was funny. And that was literally about the only really funny part in the movie. The rest of it was just you know. But other than that, the CGI wasn't bad. The acting was okay, wasn't bad. If you're into that kind of like Nickelodeon type movies, I'm not a big fan of Nickelodeon or their movies. You know, I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Check it out if you want to, if you're into them kiddie-ish type movies. Moving on, I also watched Robert Downey Jr.'s new movie where he's not playing Iron Man. He's playing Dr. Dolittle. Now this story has been done 100 times. And they keep changing it and doing something different and blah blah blah. Now the first, I would say Dr. Dolittle, that most people probably remember is, well, at least recently, is, you know, Eddie Murphy's Dr. Dolittle. Now, there was a couple of sequels to that. The sequels were, I definitely didn't like the third one, which was real kiddie-ish. Another Nickelodeon type of family-ish, or not family-ish, but Disney-ish type installment was the third one, where it was the girl who could hear everything, or what the animals were saying. Yeah. The first Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy wasn't bad. So in this one, they kind of changed it. They made it more, you know, he's in England. He's an English professor, a doctor or whatever. The Queen's granted him a home and some grounds. And his wife was some famous explorer who was also a pirate, which made no sense whatsoever. That part of the movie literally made no sense. You know, it's 18th century. You're very rarely going to find women in positions like that to become real famous or whatever. You know, it just didn't happen. Very rarely were women in any kind of type of career or working career. You know, there were a few, but not that many starting in the 1800s. But anyways, she's this famous explorer. She went exploring. She died out in sea, like her ship sunk or whatever. So she died. Like so many years later, you know, now there's a couple kids. The queen has asked for Dr. Dolittle, sends this little girl, I guess supposed to be like next in line for the throne. She goes to get Dr. Dolittle by herself. Like there's nobody with her, no escorts or anything like that. You know, and she's royalty, but she goes by herself to Dr. Dolittle's place. This kid, he shoots this squirrel, and he has to go in there and see the doctor to help the squirrel. Someone told him about it. So they end up getting him to go see the queen, and the queen, he figures out that the only way to cure the queen is to get an antidote to this poison, that she's being poisoned. Nobody really believes him, but he's able to go on this voyage to find this antidote. Long story short, you know, they go through a couple mishaps with his ex-wife's or his father-in-law, who's the king pirate over the pirate island. They go through a few mishaps with him. They have an English guy who's trying to kill him, played by Sean, I think it was Sean Penn. But anyway, he's trying to kill him, but they, or Simon Pegg, sorry, Sean Penn. Simon Pegg, my bad. But anyway, Simon Pegg's trying to kill him because he's been helping poison the queen. But they eventually get past him and everything, and they get the antidote back. And by the way, there's a dragon in this movie. Spoiler alert. Yeah, they have to face a dragon to get the antidote. But they get the antidote and they go to the queen and they cure, blah blah blah, everything's hunky-dory. They find the conspirators who were trying to kill her, and that's the end of the movie. Everyone lives happily ever after. Like I said, they just did a different take on it, and they made it in the 1800s. They made them English, and they had to do like this, you know, they had to follow in the footsteps of his pirate wife, famous explorer, who had a map they had to follow to find the antidote. So, I don't know, they did it different. It was a little bit ridiculous. Again, it was more kidsy. There was a lot of kidsy type jokes. It wasn't really an adult film. Like I said, it was more Nickelodeon or Disney-ish. It was okay. It was alright. I didn't think it was horrible or bad or anything. The acting was really good. Just the story, I think the story is a little bit off. But otherwise, it was okay. It's alright for one time to see. So I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It was okay. Check it out if you want. Alright, let's move on to your B-rated movies. Alright, movie holics. This week is Action Week, so we went with action again this week. I picked two movies that may be fairly well known. The actor is, they're both Steven Seagal movies. So for action, the first one I went with was the first one he did, called Above the Law, in 1988. It only made about $19 million, which was okay for back then. Didn't do too bad, but it wasn't the greatest. It's had him, Pam Grier, which was his partner, and then Sharon Stone played his wife before she became famous. Basically, Above the Law is basically him going after some corrupt politicians, is basically what it was. Or not necessarily politicians, old CIA agents, I guess you would call them. It was a group he used to work for when he was in the CIA. But now, for some reason, he's just a cop. He's no longer with the CIA. But it was a corrupt group of mercenaries which had influenced the CIA, and he went after him, and of course, you know, he saves the day. It was alright. It wasn't horrible. Wasn't too bad. For an action flick, you know, and for his first one anyway. You know, you could tell he wasn't real big on acting right then at that point in time. I give it a couple thumbs up. It was a pretty decent movie. If you like action flicks, check it out. This is his first one. Now he did a couple more, and then he did a movie called Out for Justice, which is the second one I chose to watch. It's done in 1991. This one did quite well. It did about 40 million, so it did quite a bit better than his first one. The bad guy was William Forsythe, and it had Joe Champia in it, and Gina Gershon. One played the bad guy's sister, the other one played his wife. Like I said, it didn't do too bad. 40 million is not really very bad at all for back then. Basically, the William Forsythe is playing this character named Richie, which is, he's basically part of the mafia, Italian mafia, the mob. Anyways, there's a cop that was a buddy of Steven Seagal's that gets popped right in the middle of the street by Richie because he was sleeping with Richie's girlfriend. So that it sets him off on a chain of killings where he just starts going around. He's getting doped up and high, and he's just going around on a killing spree and killing people. Steven Seagal plays a character named Gino, who's good turns with the mafia and the cops, and he knows that the mafia gets a hold of him, he's done for. He goes after him because he wants to revenge for him killing his friend. Come to find out, his friend is dirty. He's not too happy about that. But this guy named Richie, he's just going around killing people left and right. And Gino plans on stopping him. Anyway, they get in a big old fight scene. He ends up killing him. And that's the end of the movie. I thought he was a little bit better in this one. I mean, he was a little bit more intimidating in this one. Like, he literally, I mean, it's kind of crazy though, because they made it to where he was practically untouchable. Like, he was just this super badass who could just go up to anybody and make him do or beat the holy shit out of him with no problem. That was a little extreme. I mean, he gets one bullet in the whole entire movie, you know, towards the end, but he's still able to kick ass with that one bullet in him, in his stomach or whatever. Oh, it was a little bit crazy, but anyway, it was a fun, cheesy action movie. So I liked it. It was good. I definitely give this one 2 thumbs up for sure. The acting was great, but if you like watching Steven Skull just go beat up a bunch of bad guys, this is definitely the movie for you. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. Give me your thoughts on the whole in the box below, or the comments below. Give me your suggestions if you have any for some, you know, B-rated movies to review that I might have never heard of or seen. I would like to hear from you any type of movies like that should be better recognized as some decent movies. Anyways, also give me any comments you can on what your thoughts are on the virus pandemic that's going on right now. If you think it's ridiculous, or it's just people are ridiculously nuts and just taking it way too far. If the media's pumping out a bunch of horse shit for people to believe in, which is none of it's true. But anyways, your thoughts on the virus and all that, I'd like to hear from you. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.